All right. Who do I have today here in State of Mind? All right. I have. Well, let me just say this. You may know her from look, because when I have guests and I look up credits, some are about this long, and Cynthia's are about that long. And you probably know her from 1,000 things, but I'll say you know her from Lost, and you know her, and I know her from Lost, and I know her from Nina on General Hospital. The beautiful thing about, aside from her acting and all that stuff, beautiful thing about Cynthia is she's a great listener, and she doesn't talk about herself, and so this State of Mind for me is going to be about her talking about her own, because I don't know anything about her. Okay, how you doing?
I'm great. It's
right.
so great to be here. I love this fall look.
You
got a fall look. You got a llama over here.
Yeah.
You can't see this, but it's beautiful.
It's a llama, and I had an orangutan, but I guess my wife doesn't want me to have it in the room.
Yeah.
But she did all this beautiful stuff.
Beautiful job.
You look great, by the way.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, I'm all right. Okay. Let's talk about your life. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan, in Lake Orion, about 40 minutes north of Detroit. Small town. Did not know what I would if there was like a mock elections. You know those mock elections that we used to have?
No.
Did you ever have those? It was like most likely to like be an athlete, most likely to.
Oh
yeah. I'd be like most likely to end up in like jail.
Really?
Because really, I did not that I was a troublemaker, but I was just so lost about.
When you were young?
Yeah, about what
Teenager?
I wanted to do. Yeah. And I got really sick. I had this thing called thrombocytopenia, which is a platelet disorder. It's a blood disease, basically. So I was in and out of hospitals for about 2 years. I had chemo, and this is getting heavy.
No,
like,
this
right
this,
off the
no,
bat.
but you know what? This is cool. Keep going.
So, state of mind goes deep quickly. And so I was in and out. So they didn't really I was like this bald, puffy kid in school. So it was
really?
It was like a really difficult time. So I didn't do well in school. Home life was a little rocky and stuff like that.
Drugs?
So, not drugs, just illness. And my home life was rocky just because my parents were just kind of not around and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
And then I saw a poster on the wall about auditions. And I was like, well, maybe I can meet people and stuff. And I auditioned, and it was the first time, Mo, that I really felt like I was good at something.
How old were you?
Let me retract that. This was in a community college. So I went to high school. The poster was in a community college that I went to. I took a couple of classes there. And so
hold on. Let me ask one thing. I want to know when you, like in high school, when did you start getting really good looking?
Maybe next year. No.
Right, all high school, you weren't like the most pop?
No.
No?
No.
This is fascinating to me.
No. Absolutely
All
not.
of high school, no? Because I was hella popular. I was like the...
Were you super popular, like the handsome, like
I was...
stud?
Yeah, from my 11th grade, all I did, I went back to school to go to my senior year. All I did was smoke weed and get big and work out with weights. So when I went to school in senior year, my arms were like 16 inches. I was big as hell. My stomach wasn't that good, but because you don't know about that stuff, I didn't meet Steve Burton yet. But I was popular, and I was the toughest kid in the school and that kind of stuff. Yeah, I was popular. But I would think you were a cheerleader.
No.
Damn.
No, yeah, it was a rocky road for me. But it all builds character.
Yeah.
And then I went to a community college because I didn't know what I was going to do. And I saw the poster, and went to the audition, and I was just like, oh, maybe I can do this, and maybe I belong in, because I loved everything about it. I loved sitting and just watching people act. I loved just you know how sometimes it's boring because we do the same thing over and over. I loved that. I loved everything.
How old were you at that point?
19.
Oh, 19.
And so I did that for a couple of years, and then the woman who ran it, Dr. Arnfield, she knew I didn't have a lot of money, and so she let me audit her classes, and she gave me an award for
Really?
because I was good in this play called Anti-Mame, and she said, you need to leave. You need to go and go to a conservatory.
Wow.
So I went, and I went to Boston University, and that's where I just fell in love with theater, and I love everything about it. Like, I always say, you can't go into acting if you don't like those dull, like, oh my God, we have to do this again.
Yeah,
You have to love it all.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of not glam. I mean, like 99% of it is not glamorous.
Yeah, but that's, well, I'll speak for myself. That's how I felt early on. But after so many years, I start losing that.
The
feeling
enjoyment.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Sorry to say that, but I mean, sometimes it's cool. You know, we have scenes and it's fun and I get into it, but it's not like it was when I was young.
No, it's not like it when you're young, but there must be something that you still like about it.
I think the doing of it and not, I need to keep busy. That's one thing I learned in the pandemic. I thought that I could retire and not do anything. Although during the pandemic I was going through hell, but even now I'm better when I'm busier.
Yeah. What sign are you?
Pisces.
Pisces. Ooh, you're fiery, aren't you? Yeah.
Well,
no surprise there,
well,
but,
I know, but
yeah.
Isn't Pisces what is it, fiery?
Yeah, they're passionate.
Oh yeah.
They're I think Pisces are very passionate.
What are you?
People. I'm a Virgo, and none of my like, I'm 2 months premature, so I always think that I'm not a true Virgo. I don't know anything about science, but my closets are clean. Like, Virgos are very, like, they like order.
Really?
They like to have things organized. That's sexy, isn't it? So, super sexy.
So what else? You got into, were you right away, how long did it take you to know that this is what you were going to do for the rest of your life?
Went to BU with Maura.
No.
Yeah.
Maura West. She's
Maura
on
West.
General Hospital, plays.
Little shout out.
Yeah.
And I went to New York. So most of the theater people went to New York to starve.
Yeah.
Because to make a living in New York as a theater actor is just crazy.
But you could do soaps.
Well, I didn't know it at the time,
Yeah.
so I was struggling. Like, I was probably evicted from my apartment. Like, they would threaten me. They'd put those big signs like, get out. And I'd be like, please. And they'd be like, okay, well, just give us something. And for the first year, it was just bad. I got like restaurant jobs and stuff like that. And then I went to Guiding Light and kept going back and back and back and back and back, and finally landed a job, and it was like the best thing because it taught, like, soaps are amazing because they teach you not only to make decisions really quickly, to memorize really quickly, to make choices really quickly, but also I learned about lighting. I'm not great at lighting, but learned about lighting and meeting your mark. And
now, I've told you this a lot. You did something on Guiding Light that 2 or 3 people have told me it's the best acting they've ever seen, the best Emmy tape. It was something in the court. I don't know. That's what I heard.
Oh yeah, I was in the court. Yeah, I was in the court, and then I was taking drugs and crying a lot. just taking drugs and crying, just oh.
Yeah,
And then I win.
I guess you made an impression on these three people because, and one person has said it to me 3 times now. Tell me how Lost happened. I'm very curious.
So went in New York and did Guiding Light, and then I was like, I want to go to LA because Guiding Light was in New York. So I made the heart wrenching. It was so hard to leave Annie Dutton, the character I played, to go to LA again.
How long were you in LA?
Oh, well, I went back and forth for a couple of years, but I've been in California for like 20 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, but I, like I said, I had a place in New York, had a place here, so I was kind of I'm still super attached to New York. And then did like Titus and
oh yeah,
and then I did Drew. So I was in this comedy sort of genre, and Hollywood, they love to just pigeonhole you.
Yeah.
So they were like, she's a comedy, we don't want to see her. And my agent was like, please. And they're like, no. And she's like, I'll give you $100. I don't know what happens in those rooms. And so I got an audition, and I got the part, which was a shocker. And they said, go to Hawaii in like a week. And I've never even visited there.
Now, did you have a clue that you were going to something like that was sensational? I mean, it was a big deal, that show.
I have to tell you, I never watched an episode of Lost. I'm not a big.
Oh,
TV
you got in after the pilot, and
well, they did the first season, so I was the second season.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, when I auditioned, I was like, why are they on an island and then I'm in an office room? I didn't get it. And a friend of mine was telling me, no, they're on the island and they have flashbacks. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. And then I moved there. I have these 2 little babies. I have twins. Well, they were toddlers. Go there, get a place. I'm on the show. Most of the things are exteriors. So I would just dream about a soundstage, like dream about like being inside with the coffee machine. I would be like, remember those days?
That's the way I am with outside stuff.
Oh God. Being outside at night with a rain machine, and you're just like, I'm so cold and so wet,
I hate that.
so like I'm tired. It was probably one of my hardest jobs that I've ever had, because it was like I can easily get lost, and so it was like 3 a.m. like call times, and the sign would be this big, and and then you'd get there, and so it was lovely. I loved the job, but challenging. And then I was there, and we would all get together and like watch the show, and then I probably had 1 too many drinks, and then I got arrested for a DUI.
Wow, I got arrested for DUI too.
Yeah, it's not fun.
When I was 18.
It's unfortunate. It's you learn, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But you learn and you go, I wish I would have done something better. But I definitely learned from it. And that's all you can take from mistakes, I guess, is just, And
did the job get upset or what? Obviously, right?
Yeah, I think they got upset, and then my character, I'm sorry if you haven't watched Lost, but I'm going to do a little spoiler, so shut it off. That my character got shot and died. So who knows if Libby, that would have been Libby's fate with or without the DUI. But it was definitely not one of my stellar moments of my life.
Let's talk about your 2 girls.
Yeah.
You got...
the twins, identical girls.
Identical twins.
They're 20 now. One goes to Cal State Fullerton and one goes to Seattle.
How are they?
They're okay.
What's up? Okay. Is there any mental illness anywhere in your whole?
Well, my grandmother, funny enough, not funny, but I would hear little stories about like grandma, and I took care of my grandma at during the last days of her life, or the last years of her life, I took her from Michigan, moved her out to California because she needed some help with my mother. And she would always stare off in space, like just stare. And I would go, what's going on with Grandma? And I always knew Grandma was a little off.
Yeah.
But she had electric shock therapy when my mother was like a teenager. And then I heard these stories that would slowly come out. Like she would chase my mother with like knives, and that they would bring her into a mental hospital and give her this electric shock therapy. And then she'd go back and she wouldn't quite be right. So they'd bring her back and give her more. And then she'd come back and then she'd be like sort of a shell of but no more chasing my mom with like knives. But always like, oh, the government's after me and they're looking for me. And and then she would sit in her chair in her room and laugh because the voices and stuff.
But never diagnosed?
Never diagnosed, but it's pretty clear she had schizophrenia. I mean, I think.
That's
so
the worst.
Got that. And then my girls, they're 20, so they're struggling with the pandemic.
Age. Yeah.
Going to college during all that, being isolated.
Yes.
And then they struggle with some depression and just trying to find their place in the world. So it's hard. I'm from Michigan, so I come from the breeding of if my arm fell off, it'd be like, go to work, and I'd be like, okay, don't complain, okay.
Yeah, that's that's culture, man. That's like my being Spanish. It's don't cry, be macho, and you got to be tough, and all that is not good, especially for somebody like I was, who's sensitive.
Yeah.
And looks tough and everything. And I am tough, but my brother didn't seem to go through anything that I went through.
No.
And he had to go through worse than what I went through as a kid. So where you're from, it's that same mentality.
Yeah.
But we have to break that chain, right?
Yeah. I mean, you have to kind of go, oh, you're feeling this feeling. Let's pause and like really dive into it instead of just go on.
Yeah.
Stuff it down. Go on.
We always want to stay in first and second gear. You can go to third, but try not to go to fourth. And if you go to fifth, you're fucked.
Yeah, because that's going to take a while.
You're done. You're screwed. So you try to stay in first. So I'm trying my hardest to stay in first, second, and I'm good. Cool here. I won't even go to third. But you got to know your triggers. So with your girls,
yeah,
they're
still figuring it out.
Yeah. And
still figuring it out. And I think right now it's just it's a problem with that age, with everything that's going on. I think it's all-time high, anxiety and depression in that age group around teenage to young adults. I think are really struggling right now with everything that's going on.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, it's a new world.
Yeah.
So to figure out like who they're supposed to be,
What about therapy? Do you ever?
Therapy is definitely there, but then still resistant a little bit, but still.
Oh, they're resisting?
Yeah, a little bit. So.
Bring him in here. I'll talk to him.
But they're doing okay. They're going to school. They have jobs, so they're still finding their way, and I'm super proud of them because they could just hide under their bed, and there's nothing wrong with that because sometimes we have to do that. But they're still getting out there, and they're doing it.
And that's another. I'm glad we're talking about this because I don't think I've talked enough about this because we got to get into other stuff. You got to get out of your bed, man, and you got to do stuff, especially depression, but even anxiety. I mean, I would call my bed quicksand.
Yeah,
because
I bet.
Because you can't, you just don't get out. And then I would only thing that felt good to me was depression. Was dreaming, because in my dreams I would be happy. Yeah. And then I'd wake up to reality. Yeah. And that was horrible. So I would roll out of bed to get out of bed, but it's not easy. But you gotta continue to be busy. Okay, let's.
You want to take a nap? Let's take a nap.
Okay, let's conclude this on, because it's been nice. I like this talk on General Hospital.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I think we went good. We were in a good place, but we're going to go on something else. So I just want to say, I wish I could really say what I want to say.
Ooh. Ew.
But I'm going to say this. They did this storyline with Mike. And trying to...
You're editing in your mind right now.
Look, there was, I didn't know if this would fly. Yeah. How could I say that? Okay, I just said it. I didn't know if this storyline, before it started, that it would fly. I had my reservations, and even though Miss Watros is very talented, I didn't know if we would have any kind of chemistry, or if she would like me, or if I would like her. So I got into this, but at that point for me, it didn't matter, because I was happy in this character that wasn't dark and tormented and brooding, and so I was having fun.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Then I work with you, and you're a gem. You just are. I'm not gonna bullshit. You're a gem. And then it's we had great something there, and it was but I knew that the audience, we talk, and people. I think people now believe me, but there might be some people who said, "How do you know?" And I said, "Because I have a thing with the audience." Mm. They're like, I just know. I mean, I've done a lot of things, and I don't think I've failed yet. So I just knew that the audience. But her and I would talk, and there had to be a way to do this where I thought by the end we could turn it around at least enough. How's that? And I think I'll let you talk. So now you go ahead and say your...
So Mo, I have so much love for you, because first of all, you're just so kind and talented. And we would talk on set about it's very organic, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole process is very organic. So we rehearse, right, with our masks and stuff. And then when we take the masks off, it's almost like this thing comes alive.
Yeah.
In a way that I think I can only speak for myself. Like, I don't even know what might happen,
Yeah.
And that is where it's so fun and exciting. And I am so grateful that I got to do it with you. And
we're still getting to do it.
Still getting to do it with you. Because you said so graciously that I'm a gem, but I think you are like a rock. You ground us all, and you make us better just because of your talent and just who you are as a person. So I will forever love you so much.
Oh, thank you.
And it's challenging, because it was walking up a very steep mountain. And with beloved couple, and I was on Guiding Light, and I went between a beloved couple, so I know the ramifications of that. You can get pounded by the fans. But you held me up. You were like, Cynthia, let's do this together. We can do this. We can do it. So it was your encouraging words and love and support, and us working really hard and just listening to each other.
Yeah.
And So I love the storyline. I know, don't hate me too much. But I love the storyline. I love that because Nina is not, she's not fully stable in her mind. And I don't think I've ever met anyone who is fully sane. I haven't. If you're out there, let me know, because I haven't. And I think that what makes a character interesting is when you show their mental glitches.
Yes.
And she has a mental sort of delusion almost. I hate to call it delusion because that seems a little bit too, but she saw something in, and this is just my opinion, she saw something in Sonny that was Mike and maybe was always there, but she saw it.
Yeah.
She saw it, maybe like no one else, maybe Sonny didn't even know it was there.
Right.
And it's like being in when you're in relationships, that relationship brings out something new in you.
Yeah.
And then you're in another relationship, maybe it brings out something ugly. It's interesting that when Sonny was with Nina, it brought out something. It's like with any.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love the complexity of it. I love how it's not neat and clean, and there's like a perfect, and it's just like confusing, and because that's how we are as people.
Yeah.
It's not all perfect. We don't aren't all we all make mistakes.
Yes.
We all lie. Believe it or not, we all lie. And some are bigger, some are smaller. But it's what you do then after the lie.
Yeah.
Do you take responsibility?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you say, I messed up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I messed up.
Yep. And I just want to say this has been a very great talk because we covered a lot, and I think you opened up about some stuff that was really cool to see, because I'm not sure if you open up like that. I'm not sure if because I think that's why you don't talk a lot, because you listen and you're cool, but you reserve that for yourself, and I think you let some of that out today, and I appreciate that a lot.
Well, I love you.
I love you too. All right. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile.